Well, we're here in the Chevrolet booth with Gary Cockrell. He is the Public Relations and Development Director at the National Corvette Museum. Staff, which means you've been there for a while. How many years you been there?
12 years full time.
So when that sinkhole happened, was that like the biggest shock of your life?
It was very much a shock to everyone, yeah.
One of the guys that donated one of the cars is here, the last car out of the hole.
Right.
We're going to talk to him for just a minute. Talk about the 8 vehicles that actually went down in the hole, though.
Well, all the 8 vehicles, 6 of them belong to the National Corvette Museum. 2 of them belong to General Motors that were on loan to us. One of them was the prototype ZR1.
Yep.
It actually came out of the hole first and started and drove away on its own power.
Right, so it was on top of the pile.
It was on top of the pile. 4 of the cars we'll be able to restore pretty easily.
Yeah.
4 of the cars probably not.
So the last car that came out of that hole, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's really bad shape. It had about a 7-ton boulder right on the middle of it, so it didn't survive too well.
Well, the guy that donated it, Kevin's here. We're going to talk to him in just a minute. But also behind us is a prototype Z06 Corvette that Rick Hendrick flew in last night and bought the option to buy the first 2015 Z06 for $1 million. What did that say to you about the love people have for Corvettes?
Well, most of the Corvette guys, it is a passion for us. You know, I've owned Corvettes for 35 years, and it's just part of your life. And to be able to buy the #1 car, of course, that's always the best to be the first. And of course, Mr. Hendrick, he's a great Corvette collector. He's a great guy, and he loves the cars, and he's showing it by putting the money up for the good cars to keep them preserved.
What are your thoughts about here at Palm Beach and the different auctions Barrett-Jackson?
Barrett-Jackson does a great auction, and we have a really good booth here for the museum, and been very good to us. We meet a lot of people. We see a lot of our members here at all the Barrett-Jacksons. We go to all 4 of them, and so we've done real well with them.
So let's talk about this big sinkhole right in the middle of your museum. What are you going to do with it?
It's actually not in the middle. Let's make sure that everybody knows the museum is open.
Okay.
It's in our Sky Dome area. We're not sure what we're going to do with it yet. I talked with the director of the museum this week. We have a big meeting coming up Tuesday to decide. We've got this big hole in the middle of our floor. Should we fill it? Should we make it part of our history? We don't know yet. Yeah. So we're kind of in limbo on what to do with it. It's a very big hole. You have to understand that. It's about
half as big as this booth we're in?
Just about half as big as this booth, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
It's huge, and it's about 60 feet deep.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Gary, thank you very much. I want to talk to Kevin, who helped pull that last car out of the hole. We'll show some pictures of that right now.
That's great. Thanks.
So the last car that came out of the sinkhole at the National Corvette Museum was a 2001 Z06. Beautiful Z06 minus. People are just all over it, touching it. And the guy that owned that car is Kevin Helmenthaler. And Kevin, you donated the car to the museum, so you were the last guy to put it in, and you were the last guy to take it out of the hole there. Must have been a pretty shocking experience for you.
Yeah, it was very devastating. That's the only word I can use.
Describe the whole process. You go there, the car is just, it's covered, right?
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the scariest thing was they couldn't find it. You know, they started pulling the cars out and they started digging immediately on February 12th. And there was no sign of mine. And mine was the only torch red, only bright red car of the 8.
You'd think a red one would show up, right?
Exactly. Especially fiberglass, pieces break, nothing.
Were
not
you
a single
surprised
sliver.
how big that sinkhole was?
Oh, you can't tell on TV and the cameras and all that stuff. And you get there in person, oh, it's unbelievable.
So they find the car, they start pulling it out. What were your thoughts? And describe what just kind of relive that for a minute.
Yeah, well, it was Monday afternoon was the first sign. They found the bottom of one of the back tires because the car was upside down. And as soon as they found out, I was on a plane, and I was there Tuesday morning. And they spent all day Tuesday just moving monstrous stones. I mean, there were some stones 13,000, 15,000, 20,000 pounds. Wow. Some they lifted out, some they moved aside. So they did that all day Tuesday. And then Wednesday morning, they hooked up the crane, and they started pulling it out. And I thought I was upset when I got there.
Well, I was going to say, was it an emotional thing?
Oh, I bawled like a baby.
Did you?
Oh, yeah, I bawled like a baby. Yeah, I still do. So don't make me talk about it.
Yeah, right.
But no, they allowed me to go right there with the construction workers. You know, I had to have my hat and all that stuff on. I'm right there on the rail as they pull it up. And I've seen a lot of bad car wrecks. You can't even recognize it.
Exactly. It looks like you can almost straddle it like a motorcycle. It's that thin,
You absolutely
it's
can.
Pancaked.
Right.
That was a special car to you. Talk about that car a little bit.
Oh yeah, it was very special. It was a 2001 Z06. It had a mallet hammer conversion. It was number 009 of the mallet hammer conversions. And then it's had a lot of iterations since then. Just about every vendor in the country's worked on it. The Vet Doctors have worked on it. Cartech out of Jersey's worked on it. But really, most all the work's been done by, the latest work has been done by Anti-Venom out of Tampa, Florida. A lot of handmade parts, the intake, the valve covers, everything handmade by him, and a couple pieces of sheet metal. 700 horsepower. You know, again, there's obviously a lot of cars that make a lot more power, but it was sweet. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it was sweet.
Well, you know, I didn't mean to have you relive that, but
Yeah,
you know what?
sorry.
I mean,
I don't have any choice.
The whole country was living all of that,
Yeah.
you know, and you're one of the guys, and certainly appreciate you donating
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
car to the museum as
Yep.
well. That was a generous thing for you
Yeah,
guys to do.
yeah.
But
Wish they had it longer, but yeah.
anyway, I think that car will probably be on display, but of
Yeah.
course the pictures we just got done showing kind of showed you a little bit of the magnitude of what Mother Earth can do. Kevin,
Right.
thank
All
you
right.
again.
Thank you.
All right,
Enjoy
here
it.
at Barrett-Jackson, Barrett-Jackson Live.